This Texas NASCAR weekend recap episode in edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Gametime. Snag the tickets without the stress. Use promo code CFBX on your first purchase to save $20. Download the Gametime app and use promo code CFBX. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Play the Underdog Pick'em in college or NFL and win up to 20 times in one game. Plus, every Sunday they're giving away $100,000. Use promo code SGPN at Underdog Fantasy for a 100% deposit bonus up to $500. Finally, we're brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use promo code SGPN to get 50% off of your first month and start making smarter bets today.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'll wreck my mom to win a championship. I'll wreck your mom to win a championship.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
It refrains me from not beating the out of you right now because you ask me stupid questions. But since I'm on probation, I suppose that's improper to say as well. If you could talk about racing things, we could talk about racing things.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
It's Rod's first time.
Random glitches on the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez. Apparently, our stream wants to go the way that my betting card did this weekend, and that's just completely wonky. So 1,000% apologize for that on the live part of that. On the podcast part of it, you guys aren't even going to know because I'm going to cut it out. So you won't even know that it happened. But yeah, anyways, welcome in, everybody. It is, of course, the NASCAR Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. We're recapping a Texas weekend, Cody, that had its highs and it had its lows, much like the temperature probably in that part of the state of Texas. But
I think the temperature only had highs there, but
well, right there was only highs. Yeah. But yeah, again, but at nights it's freezing. So that's the thing about Texas. You know, you can be 100 and some odd in the day and it'll plummet to like 70 at night, which I say that it tongue in cheek because I know that's not necessarily that cold, but still. Anyway,
we were so close to it being just such a high weekend too. Like we were JJ Yaley away from it being such a good weekend.
Way more than JJ Yaley on my end,
well,
but that's right. Shout out to Justin in the chat.
22-1 would have fixed everything.
Yeah, that would have fixed a lot of stuff. Old fashioned in the house. Justin talking about that sweet jersey I have. Yes, my friends. It is, of course, the XFL's LA Extreme jersey that I have because you know I love some spring football, and I couldn't wear my company uniform on screen, so I just grabbed the first thing out of the closet that made sense, and that's this. So you guys get the LA Extreme jersey.
Nice. I like it.
So, well, other than that, Cody, how was your weekend? Was the racing okay for you from what you saw?
Yeah, I full disclosure, did not catch both races. I haven't had a chance to go back and finish watching over them, but kept up throughout the races, saw the ends, which is really the part that matters the most, of course. I mean, it's Texas, right? And so if you're doing it based on Texas standards, well, it wasn't that bad of a race, right? Because Texas hasn't been great super lately, I guess. So I don't know. The racing was okay. From what I saw, obviously it was chaotic, right? You tweeted something yesterday about the NFL and NASCAR and how yellow is your least favorite color now. There was a lot of yellow. That's an understatement. A lot. Imagine Texas being like that, and then we have Talladega this weekend. So, oh boy.
So I will go on record as saying that yes, and that's why no longer, if you're watching YouTube, are our bubbles yellow like it matches in our logo. I am going to petition that we take yellow right the hell out of our logo, because I, for one, can't stand looking at the color. Doesn't matter if it's an NFL official flag. Doesn't matter if it's a NASCAR official flag waving. Yellow has quickly become my least favorite color, and I will do my best to never wear it again and never look at it again. As you notice, this is gold and not yellow, so it's close. It almost made the cut because it was too close, but yeah, not thrilled about that.
Yeah, I mean, at times, obviously, yellow can help us out. Helped us a couple weeks ago in Kansas. Got Tyler Reddick to the front for us there, but yeah, it's man. Again, we'll get into it as we break it down, but again, another weekend of nailing exactly what was going to happen and who was going to be good, and then it not necessarily finishing the way that it should have, or the way that it was playing out on the track, which when it comes to betting on it, obviously is extremely frustrating, because picking Kyle Larson and Bubba Wallace to win this race was the best decisions. Like those were the correct bets to make. And then William Byron comes out of nowhere and wins. Like, and it's just, hey, good, props for him. Congratulations. But sucked as far as the betting goes.
Yeah, it's not the best of ideas to go and base your entire life off of the calls that you made when the yellow flag starts to come out, because that'll quickly be when you start questioning all of your life decisions up to that point. When the yellow comes out, you're like, all right, fine. This is what I get for whatever I just did. Karma is all out there. Rye Cape, love that you joined us in these lives. What's up, Rye?
Yes, thank you.
How was your weekend? I hope it was a lot better than ours, because like I said, we'll recap everything that was going on, but it was a very hectic weekend. So, you know what? First and foremost, I do want to say, before we get going, I know we're looking back at Texas, but I want to look forward for a second to Talladega. You shared a tweet that made my entire day, maybe my entire life, in that Stuart Haas. Go watch it, first of all. Okay, two things. Join the Discord, join the NASCAR channel, and then go click on Cody's tweet, because Stuart Haas Racing pulled the greatest move ever, in my opinion. And they are going to be racing the Old Spice car and the Wonder Bread car for Talladega, a la Ricky Bobby and Kyle Otten. Oh, it's so awesome. Like, I got chills just thinking about seeing those cars in the track this week.
Yeah, no, it's going to be super cool to see those cars out there. If at one point you get them up front, which the Stuart Haas boys are pretty good at super speedways, right? Will be pretty cool to see the Talladega Nights cars out front if that's the case. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And I mean, Old Spice and Tony Stewart go back a long ways. Tony Stewart and Old Spice have an old relationship from long ago. So good to see them reuniting. Good to see Wonder getting on board. Everybody jumping in for the fun. That's gonna be pretty sweet to see those two cars out there.
That's a good sense of humor too from both of those. Yeah, you're right. Old Spice has been around for a long time, but Wonder Bread was the one that was basically just it was thought up of because of the show. Now they've got to have Powerade, they've got to have Taco Bell, they've got to have all that stuff on the car as well, because those are all Ricky Bobby's.
Yeah, sponsors. That would be pretty sweet if they get all that.
I love it. All right, what say we, Cody, start breaking down these bets? Rye says it was a rough weekend for him too. I mean, I'm sure it was a rough weekend for a lot of folks. I didn't see too many happy people out there.
Yeah, well, and we had a couple people in our Discord that had grabbed Byron. I think he was 16-1, which was great. I mean, it's, again, if you've got the guy, we're going to cash that Tyler Reddick ticket a couple weeks ago, even though he probably shouldn't have been the guy that won the race, right? And so, yeah, so if you had Byron, props to you. we did hit a few bets still. I mean, there was some good stuff, and then we'll get into Xfinity. Hit John Hunter Nemechek. I mean, that was one of the largest bets of the year, and sweated a little bit on that one, Rod. I'll tell you.
I was sweating too, my friend. But all right, let's do that. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll start locking in those bets and going over them from the Texas weekend. But maybe you didn't buy tickets for the race on this or any of these races this weekend because you waited to the last minute and then you were left watching it on TV, getting super pissed off the way I was all weekend long because, well, it would have probably been better to be there rather than watch it from the comfort of my own home where I knew I could get up and walk away. So I should have done that using the Gametime app. You probably should have done that using the Gametime app if you wanted to go to that game. If you wanted to go to that concert, that sporting event, whatever it was, the comedy show that you missed out on because you waited too long to buy the tickets, stop doing that. Start using Gametime. The Gametime app not only lets you buy tickets last minute with all of the ease and comfort of not having to get gouged price-wise, but they'll give you special deals. They will also send you tickets or send you pictures from the seats that you are going to be in and looking out onto the crowd or onto whatever it is that you're looking at. Gametime guaranteed also means that you're going to get that best price. And if you find tickets in the same section or row for less, if you find tickets later, you are not only going to get your money back, but you're going to get 110% of the difference in that as well. So stop doing all of the things you're doing before in ticket buying. Start using Gametime. Snag the tickets without the stress with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use code CFBX for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms apply again. Create an account, redeem code CFBX for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Underdog Fantasy has a way for you to play alongside your favorite football team or drive along with your favorite drivers all season long. You can win up to 20 times your money in a single game by going 5-4-5. I've seen that happen already a couple of times. Somebody hit it big in our chat earlier too. So good on them. And from now until October 4th, Underdog's matching 100% of your first deposit. Get this, up to $500. $100,000 Sundays continue on Underdog Fantasy. You get a total of $2 million in prizes all season long. $100,000 in prizes this week alone. $10,000 to 10 people this week. There's a new sweepstake every weekend of the NFL season. We tossed out a bunch of our underdog plays that we liked on Friday. A few of them actually hit. So if you followed along with us, you probably got yourself a 5 for 5. So hopefully you did that, and we'll do it again for you this week as well. So watch along, make your picks, maybe make a little cash over on Underdog's mobile app or website, underdogfantasy.com. When you sign up with the promo code SGPN, Underdog will double your first deposit up to $500. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code SGPN. All right, we'll go all the way back to Sunday. Let's do the Sunday race because Sunday's a little fresher in our mind than was the Xfinity race. But yes, it was the Auto Trader Echo Park Automotive 400 from Texas, 400 miles around this 1.5 mile track. My dad goes, "How big is that track, son? That looks huge." And I was like, "Dad, it's only 1.5 miles." He's like, "Why does it look so much bigger?" I said, "Because it's in Texas."
It's in Texas. Yeah, exactly. That's up perfect, right? I did want to say shout out to Hendrick Motorsports. 300 Cup Series wins they've got now with William Byron capturing that. That is absolutely impressive. 359 if you count the top 4 series. They got 26 Xfinity, 26 Truck Series, and 7 ARCA Series victories. 315 times they've sat in the pole between those 4 series, and they have got, I just had it here, and of course I lost it. As far as championships go, they have won 18 championships, 14 in the Cup Series, 1 Xfinity, and 3 in the Truck Series. Just that organization, so freaking impressive. So shout out to them, and congratulations on getting the win. All right, Rod. Should we go? Oh, look at that. Rod's got his Jimmy Johnson car right there.
How many of all of those does this guy have? This guy's probably has like.
So he's definitely got the most. He's got the 7, obviously, which is, I mean, that's half of the Cup Series titles they have, right? They got 14. Jimmy's got 7 of them. So, yeah, and a good portion of those wins too, right? He had 83 wins? Is that Or is
Yes.
that Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson? Yeah, 83. Yeah, because he's in the 84. Because if he wins again, it's 84. See.
Just saying.
All right.
All right.
Over to the bets now. This one did pay out great. It was a good way to start the weekend. Bubba Wallace, top 10, even money, Rod. Absolutely crazy. This was even money. He cashes that. Top 5 at plus 300. He cashed that. All right, let's move on to the Xfinity Series race now.
And by all means, that is exactly where we should just go.
But no, this was great, right? He obviously, and then we'll talk about it while we're talking about him. 2-1, like he led the most laps. He starts on the pole, leads the most laps, 111. Multiple restarts at the end, was holding everyone off. Fucking Chase Briscoe, god damn it, Chase Briscoe, just fucked everything up there. I did think Larson was going to get him, and then Larson, that was Larson's own mistake. He messed up the air. I was at my daughter's volleyball game at the end of their race, so I was not watching with the sound on. But I saw it, so I didn't hear what they were talking about on the broadcast. But from the way that I saw it, I mean, they never touched, and it looked like a big-time Larson mistake, and similar to what happened at Kansas, where Denny got his air, at the first Kansas race, Denny got the air messed up, and Larson just kind of lost it. So, but Bubba Wallace, top 10, even money. Bubba Wallace, top 5, plus 300. Both of these easily cashed. Should have took him top 3, I guess, instead of top 5, but we'll take the win there. They showed up this weekend and had a lot of speed and had a great day.
Yeah, and really, again, it was all Larson, and he knew it. I mean, nobody touched anything. That air just got lifted up off the back end of that car and stepped out. And I mean, we were lucky that didn't take out more, because if Larson
right in front of the field,
yeah, again, I mean, we've seen that, right? The front of the field accidents where it takes out everybody. So we were lucky that did not happen in this instance, or took out Bubba too, for that matter, because that was a pretty nasty.
That would have been the worst of it. I mean, not the Bubba won anyways, but he still cashed these bets at least. But
yeah,
if they'd have both got swept up in that and took both my outrights out, that'd have been rough.
Yeah. Well, look, Bubba showed up. Joey Logano did not. That 22 car was in the back of the field the entire day. At no point was he, not even through cautions, not even through crazy pit strat, nothing. Dude was never in the top 10. Therefore, this Joey Logano top 10 bet was dead on arrival. I don't even need to break it down. That dude did not. And I know, Cody, it's the hardest guy to handle.
Hardest guy in the garage.
But I thought I had it this week. I thought he was going to get something done, but he got nothing done. That 22 car finished in 21st. So
yeah, and Penske just overall, I mean, struggling. Like Ryan Blaney, they rolled the dice with some strategy. It got him up there, and he was able to kind of hold on for a little while. But other than that, like, Penske is just slow right now. And it's crazy to see, because they won the championship last year, and they're generally a fast team, but something's going on over there. I had Ty Gibbs top 10 at plus 175. This one looked pretty good, right? He starts in 4th place. He's running fast. He's looking good. Contact on pit road, of all places, between Gibbs and Hamlin. I'll be interested to hear. I just saw Actions Detrimental. I saw is out, but I listened to like the first 5 minutes, but I've now listened to more than that. I'll be interested to hear Denny's explanation of what happened there. Again, I wasn't watching with sound at that point, so I don't know what the TV broadcast said, but I think on the teardown, I think they were talking about how it was kind of maybe Gibbs's fault. So I don't know. I'm not even sure exactly, but
yeah, Gibbs did take credit for it. Gibbs said he should have. He didn't know what was going on. He should have been higher up in it than that, and he should have. He was running a whole half a lane more into the pit road than he needed to be. Like he was not in an area where he should have been. And look, for Denny's sake,
rookie mistake.
Yeah, it was a rookie mistake, because Denny would add plenty of room if Gibbs would have been where he was supposed to be, riding a little closer to the outside car than he was on the inside. So yeah, I mean, that was all Gibbs, man. He ruined his own day and didn't necessarily ruin Denny's too much by proxy, but I think in the end, all that damage kind of kept him from winning the race. I mean, He did get a nice solid top 5, but
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Unfortunate for Gibbs. Again, looked fast. And I think he'd probably had a chance to catch this if it hadn't been for that. So shit happens.
Indeed. Cody, where did William Byron finish in this race?
Let me see. Looking through the list here. Got to scroll. Scroll up. He finished first, Rod.
That's right. So I had him as a top 5 car. He cashed this very easily. And listen,
At least we were on him some way.
that's what I was like too. I think I have to go back and listen to what I said about it, but I said that 2014's got to get it figured out because they were fast in the beginning of the season, and maybe that was even on the Underdog episode. But I basically said they've got to figure this out because if they don't figure this out now, then it's just going to get too late in the postseason for them to be able to do it. And listen, they were not up the front. They were not up toward the front for most of this race. I mean, they were 5th in stage 1, and then fell back.
It was like, where did he come from at the end? It was like
just attrition. It really was just them making steady improvements all throughout the race and figuring it out. And eventually,
he's locked in. He's locked into the next round, by the way, and we could talk about it more in a minute. But most important race in the playoffs, right? I said that. Now Byron doesn't have to worry about it at Talladega. Doesn't have to worry about it at the Roval. On the flip side, Kyle Larson. This race and not finishing it where he should have. I have a feeling this is going to come back to bite him, and that's why I had him going out in this round. I know I picked him to win this weekend, but when we did our brackets, this is why I picked him to go out in this round. He's got a long uphill battle, but yeah, Byron, again, good. At least you were on him somehow. Props to you. Plus money on the top 5.
Indeed. All right, next one for you, cashed.
Do you want to do an ad break, Rod?
Yeah, let's do an ad break.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and step away. When we step away, we'll come back. We'll start breaking down.
I just know that I'll probably go more than 40 seconds this one.
Look at he's learning. I love this. By season 3, we are going to have it all on lock. So we'll come back with the rest of our bets. But let's tell you about Hall of Fame bets. Win bigger by betting smarter this NFL season with Hall of Fame bets, the sports betting analytics platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Research every NFL, NBA, MLB, and soccer bet with historical stats and data. You can enter any parlay idea into Hall of Fame bets revolutionary parlay optimizer to get hit rates broken down by leg as well as expected probability for the entire parlay. Sort all players by hit rate for any bet to learn which players are hot and which picks have value. Stop betting in the dark. Join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off of your first month today. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame bets. Hey, what is up to John Little in the chat as well? What's up, John? We are just, Cody's taking a victory lap. I'm licking my wounds after Texas because it was a very rough weekend to say the least. But yeah, definitely because some highs and some lows, like I said, like the Texas temperature.
Yeah, combination of both for sure. This next one did hit. Denny Hamlin, we just talked about him. Top 5 minus 120. Wasn't necessarily the Denny Hamlin that I had really hoped we would see. Maybe being up front the whole race. I mean, he was in the top 10 throughout the day, but definitely wasn't one of the fastest cars like you would have expected. But thanks to the attrition at the end, because otherwise you might not have got there, right? But holds on. I think he was one of the guys that took the fresh tires at the end there and then fought his way back up through it quickly and finished in 5th. So just squeaked this one out. Minus 120 for Denny Hamlin. Wasn't the most beautiful way to catch a bet, but take what we can get this weekend.
Yeah. And really for Denny, it wasn't even the fact that he got hit on pit road. It was just the fact that he wasn't one of the dominant cars on the day, right? I mean, this is a track we thought he was going to be, and he was neck and neck with Larson for a little bit, right? And they were jockeying for what could have been the lead if everything would have gone the way it was supposed to go before cautions came out and ruined the whole thing. Yeah. So, I mean, who knows? It could have been different. You had the 2 fastest cars on the day for sure in your outrights. Well, 3, I guess, really.
Yeah. Again, I don't know. I'm glad I took him top 5. I didn't go with him for the outright because I don't think he was going to cash that. But hey, we'll take what we can get.
My next bet featured a red hot driver versus a driver that I don't know. He's not thinking of retirement at this point, but I would think that you're getting close to joining your brother in the booth because Kyle Busch, man, and for his sake, that interview at the end of when they were able to finally interview him, he's like, guys, if you got any ideas, I'm open to anything you have to say. And I'm like, you're opening it up to the world to give.
Dude, it's new. It's like, it's so funny because Denny Hamlin has obviously like just completely embraced the villain role. Like he's leaning into it. And Kyle Busch, like everybody likes him now. He's gone to Chevy and everything. Like he's leaning into this nicer, gentler. Oh, I'm just nice Kyle Busch over here. And it's pretty hilarious because I'm not saying they swapped roles because Denny was never like super popular or anything, but like obviously it's just a different look on, and the way he acts is so much different now than it used to be. And it's pretty funny to watch. But this was a great call by you. Again, just man, that 8 car cannot catch a break.
No. And what's worse too is that he created a little bit of his own luck in that right as well too. And that's the thing when you get in your head, man, especially as an athlete, it's a human being in general. When you get in your head, you start to create your own luck. And really that's what happened here with Busch. And for Buescher, I mean, look, he started second, right? We thought he was going to have the pole there for a hot minute until that got yanked from him by Bubba. But by the same token, it's like, look, if you're going to continue to drive and overthink everything you do, you're not going to get the finishes that you want. And that's why for Busch, it was easy to take any matchup against Busch because I just didn't think he was going to have it. In fact, the only people he didn't beat were Gilliland and Austin Dillon. So if you would have taken anybody over Kyle Busch other than Gilliland and Dillon, you would have won that bet.
His Mater driving around backwards was pretty.
Oh my God,
pretty comical though.
Hilarious. Yes, it was. And I said it too. I was like, look at Kyle. That's so Kyle Busch driving backwards.
Absolutely, that was funny. I had Tyler Reddick over Christopher Bell. Unfortunately, on the wrong side of this one, Bell starting to turn these good starts into decent finishes, and maybe it's because he didn't start the best, right? He started 9th, so he didn't get the pole this time, but ends up with a 4th place finish. Boy, Reddick 25th. Why was Reddick so bad? What was the deal there?
He actually had gotten into it too at one point. He was around, and then he ended up getting into it later on with that lap 257 crash that had the 12, the 2, the 30.
Oh, that big one at the
end.
Yep, he was involved in that. So that'll do it. And I had given out both these guys to win the pole. I was right that it was going to be a Toyota. I was right that it was going to be a 2311 car. Wrong 2311 car. So fortunately didn't catch either of these. Reddick didn't even make it to the last round, which I thought was really surprising. And then Bell did, but was 9th. So unfortunately missed on the pole bets this time. Had the right thought track, I guess, but wrong drivers.
Yep. Well, what color do I hate now? And you guys all know this one. It's yellow. That one screwed this bet very handily. I had Kosovar winning Group E. Stenhouse, AJ, Austin Dillon. Look, Austin Dillon wrecked himself out early. That made this a little easier for him to beat Austin Dillon. And he was beating all of these guys. AJ Allmendinger ends up crashing. I was like, hell yeah. The only people we got to worry about now is Ricky Stenhouse. Ricky Stenhouse started 24th. Ends up with a top 10 finish. That, to me, that encapsulates Texas right there. That's the whole Texas. Kosovar was running inside, if not the top 15, so close to the top 10, so much of that race, right? Him and Eric Jones both were like right there. Eric Jones was jockeying he led laps in this race, did Eric Jones. So
look fast again. Somebody was talking about, I want to say maybe it was Corey LaJoy on his podcast, but that Toyota might be helping them already, giving them some information. So maybe that's why we've seen this crazy. And obviously, I mean, it would make sense with as well as the Toyotas have been running, right? So maybe they're hitting the ground running, which is interesting dynamics there. But maybe that's led to part of that. But yeah, this was a good bet. I mean, Dillon goes out super early, and then AJ gets caught up in that other wreck. So at that point, you have a head-to-head with one guy at plus 265. So and Kosovar was running good yet again. He's really continued to improve, and he's going to be a rookie in the Cup Series next year. So. I had Ty Gibbs over Kevin Harvick after qualifying. This one looked pretty good, right? Harvick back in 22nd again. Gibbs started up front there. Talked about Gibbs already. Got caught up in that. Harvick did end up having a good, solid 6th place finish. A little bit of a bright spot. He was the top Ford on the weekend for that team. So I guess they can take that and do with it what they might. But I think this was still a good bet. I think that Gibbs would have been up there inside the top 10 at the end of this as well. Had a chance to beat Harvick, but obviously the damage took him out, and that's how it goes.
Yeah, again, I mean, this is one that Ty Gibbs, even the broadcast was like, well, look at Gibbs, look at how good he's doing. And then next thing you know, he makes a bonehead mistake in the pits, and that costs him his day. So yeah, definitely feel bad for Gibbs. Harvick, he's already in the booth. He knows it. Everybody knows it. There's nothing else you can do at this point. Phoenix is his very much last gasp effort to get there. And even then, I don't know,
He's winning Phoenix.
I'm telling you right now, though,
that's going to be the fastest car you've ever seen. I'm telling you, Rod.
Yeah.
It's going to be. They're overlooking everything at that car for Phoenix. I'm telling you, it's going to be up.
Suspend him.
I mean, yeah, it's there, and they're not going to fail him in tech either. Like it's going to be a fast car. Just get those bets in now.
little rocket ships going on.
Yeah.
All right. I had Toyota to win. Two of the top three leaders, as far as lap leaders were concerned, were Toyotas. Bubba Wallace, Tyler Reddick, 23-11. I mean, Bubba Wallace could have ended up winning this one in the end, so that was not a bad bet at all.
But 3 Toyotas in the top 5, so
the top 2 were Chevys, and the next 3 were Toyotas.
And the top 2 were guys that were running up front all day. I mean, Byron was okay, but like Chastain was not. He was not a fast car and ends up in second. So, yeah, I think this was still the correct bet. I had Kyle Larson 5-1. Obviously, we talked about what happened there. Really, he probably was going to be the one to win this, right? If he didn't get that original late caution, he was running away with it at that point. Then he was going to probably get the best of Bubba there at the end. Obviously, the air thing backed him into the wall, unfortunately. Chase Elliott at 20-1. He ends up in 11th. I mean, he started bad. I don't really know how much of his race went, but at 20-1, I'm probably always just going to bet Elliott because he shouldn't be 20-1. And maybe a Hendrick car comes up and steals a win, Rod. Wouldn't that be crazy if we saw that? So, and then Bubba Wallace 22-1. I mean, this was the bet of the weekend, right? And oh my God, it should have fucking cashed. It's so frustrating because when Larson went around, I was sad because I had a healthy bet on that. But then I thought to myself, Bubba is now the clear-cut car. Like, Larson was the only guy that was going to outrace him, I thought. And I was like, okay, now we got 22-1. Let's go. And then we didn't go.
No, in fact, it did not go. The restarts, Bubba said it too. He was nailing restarts all day except for the ones that counted. So, yep. I mean, it'll be interesting to see where he bounces back in the next couple of weeks. We know that he's capable of being a front runner at Talladega, right, and winning. However unconventional the win could be, a win is still a win. So it's not out of the picture there yet, and he can still run well and keep going and having good points days. So we'll see how that one runs out. At Brad Keselowski, this one didn't look bad after qualifying, right? After qualifying, I was like, hell yeah, let's start third, shall we, for Brad Keselowski. And in fact, he was running up there for most of the day as well inside of the top 10. He didn't finish either stage. Well, he finished stage 2 in sixth place, but even still, that 6 car had some positioning. He didn't lead any laps, but he was sure up there for a better part of it. And then, of course, till he wasn't, and that's a frustrating thing. I thought for sure there was a little bit more juice in that Brad Keselowski vehicle, but of course, he and Buescher once again have good solid days, right? Buescher ends up finishing in 14th, which not a great, fantastic day for Chris Buescher, given what we've seen before. But Brad Keselowski, nice, solid 7th place finish for him. They kind of just flip-flopped in how they finished this time around. But, it was Brad finishing better than Chris. So just he didn't get the win. That's all.
Yep. Yeah. And just to kind of put a bow on everything here, the point situation, Kyle Busch, the farthest out at 17 under. Blaney is 11 under. Reddick is 3 under. Bubba, after that great run, finishes in 3rd place. Didn't get the stage points throughout the day, and they kind of forewent or foregoed some. I don't know how you say that. Is it foregoed or forewent? However the fuck. Foregone, sure. Some stage points, and you look at that, and they're still 2 below the line. Larson, only 2 above the line. Going to be concerning for him going into Dega. Keselowski is 8. Chastain 12. Martin Truex down to 19 above the cut line again. He already used his mulligan up. Chris Bell at 20. Buescher at 22. Denny Hamlin at 37 to the good. he's definitely got a scenario where he could clinch at Talladega and move on to the next round, but could go the other way too, as we know with Talladega. So be interesting, obviously, as we break that down tomorrow on the Cup show. So yeah, that's gonna be fun. Talladega, it's gonna be a chaotic one.
John Little found a William Byron / Tyler Reddick both to win the race bet on Caesars. You talking for Talladega, John? Because
probably not, because I don't think odds are up yet. But so yeah, if you got that then and had one of them, that's pretty good, because Reddick led the second most laps, won stage 1, so he was a fast car until he got caught up there late. So, and then hitting on Byron, congrats on that. But yeah, I'm still not seeing any Cup odds for this weekend, so I'm guessing that was for this past week.
The mathematicians over there are probably not ready to put out the gigantic numbers that we're about to get for Talladega. But yeah, John, you were probably happy all that race. You didn't care what happened. You knew that it was Tyler Reddick, it was William Byron. You were covered. So fantastic there. All right. Well, then, yes, let's move on from that disappointment of a race to the other disappointment of a race, other than what Cody hit on this one in Xfinity. So we'll do that. Hang tight. We're going to introduce you to a show that is near and dear to our hearts here on the network.
Hey, everybody. If you play fantasy football, especially in auction leagues,
or you're a whiskey fan.
Yes, exactly. Check out the Sports Gambling Podcast Fantasy Football Channel show, Old Fashioned Football.
Coming to you every Tuesday morning, give us a listen. We'll bring you the latest fantasy football data, including
the injury report,
studs and duds,
waiver wire targets,
and suggested fab.
Market movers. After all, we are the Marks.
He is my hubby.
And she's J Mark's wifey.
And we're bringing all this to you while drinking an old fashioned and giving you our honest review of a different whiskey every week.
All that and more. Hop on over, give us a listen, come for the football, stay for the whiskey.
This ad's almost done.
Going once, going twice.
Sold.
At least I can say, as we move into the Xfinity, that our streak of outrights continues to hold up in, especially just this, really, I suppose, series. Our streak got broken by Cup, but we're hitting the outrights there on Xfinity Series left and right. So we can at least hang our hats on that.
Yeah, we could take that at least. So that's good. Xfinity Series race. Obviously, John Nemechek, the guy who gets it done. But started out the card, Cole Custer over Josh Berry. Can't trust Josh Berry, Rod. And what does Josh Berry do? Josh Berry gets caught up in some stuff. Ends up finishing the race. Technically, it was the last car that was running, but back in 27th, multiple laps down. Cole Custer keeps doing what Cole Custer does. Not the best car, but gets a good solid finish. He finishes in 6th after starting 3rd. So yeah, this one cashed at -110.
Yeah, that was a good one too, because Josh Berry immediately, we were just as soon as he had his problems, it was like, yep, here's Josh Berry. So definitely no sweat on that one whatsoever. This one, however, where the hell did Parker Kligerman come from? Like, all of a sudden, driving like a man on fire, especially on this track in particular. Started inside the top 10.
Man, they've shown some speed lately, and it's been.
Are they in talks with Toyota? Is that what's going on there? I don't know what's going on that 48. But yeah, started 7th, finished 2nd for Parker Kligerman. Riley Herbst just, before he got his crash on lap 2, he started 10th and just, that was it. Day was over after 2 laps. Could not even get going. We couldn't even have seen what would have happened with Riley Herbst. So this one,
yeah,
dead on arrival.
That's the word. Like, I don't know if it's the best or the worst, because you just don't have to worry about it at that point. But you don't even get to see what they could have had, right? And maybe Riley was going to have a good car. Maybe he'd have been up there competing at the end. So it's just unfortunate. But again, sometimes that's how it goes. If you're on the other side of it, it's nice when you cash a bet 2 laps into the race, right? So it happens. John Nemechek, top 3, -130. I will say, I said he was going to be the fastest car. I said he was going to be the best car. That was not the case. He was not necessarily the fastest car. He wasn't the best car. Luckily, he ended up being there at the end. Taking this top 3 at -130, though, again, I think that even if you're super convinced that somebody's going to win the race like I was, I think that taking these top 3s, if you can get them at a decent price, and -130 is not a bad price at all, I think it's still the way to go, because Justin Allgaier should have won that race, likely, right? He was the fastest car and the dominant car on the day. Got a little crazy there at the end. He missed the shift. You don't think he's going to catch him. all that stuff. And so you still would have at least had the top three. It's nice when you double dip, obviously, and we covered the outright as well. But I still think that taking these guys, if you think they're going to be the best car, get in that little bit of insurance on them not winning but still being fast, just in case circumstances shake out at the end, is the way to go about it. So glad we did that. John Hunter Nemechek, top three, -130.
I mean, we've always told you that if you feel like, if you feel like they're going to win top threes, top fives, when the numbers are right, that's another way to jump down on it. So you're absolutely right. All right. So Sam Mayer, God blessed Sam Mayer. This is another one we didn't even know. We didn't even get to see. Didn't even get to start sixth. Not even an official lap into this race is what I'm reading. Like, did not even get around the track once before the caution flag flew, which is where my absolute hatred for the color yellow has come.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even realize it was multiple bets that it took out.
Well, I had him. Yeah, seriously. I had him as a top 5 car in this one, or top 3 car even at plus 380. Sure enough, that was it. Like he brought out the top 3 caution, like the first of 3 cautions. But yeah, there was no way for this to cash at all.
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, as fast as his teammate was too. Who knows what Sam Mayer could have had for him. Unfortunate. Austin Hill, top 5 at plus 120. This bet was crinkled up, thrown in the fire, burned away, came back to life, looking all burnt up and crazy. And oh my goodness, how is he running this well in that car? Almost held on for the top 5, ends up finishing in 7th. Austin Hill did everything he could to cash this bet for us. And just unfortunately, just outside of the top 5. But again, if you're getting Austin Hill at plus money, I think you still got to keep taking it because it's the way to bet it. Not this weekend, probably. He's going to be -200 to win at Talladega, which is stupid. I'm very curious. I don't want to get too much into Talladega yet, but very curious after nobody working with him the last couple of races on super speedways, what his odds look like this weekend, because that'll be interesting. But again, I think that that betting him at plus money for a top 5 is still the right way to go. It didn't work out this time. I did appreciate the value and effort at the end, though, to try and cash this one for us.
Yeah, they're going to be long odds, I'm sure, but I love it. All right, speaking of somebody trying their best to cash this bet for us, Sheldon Creed, top 5 car. Sheldon Creed, that 2 car, started 24th, right? The story of this race was how Sheldon Creed continued to just find his way up front, to the point where he finished 8th in this race. There was no way I thought Sheldon Creed would be a top 5 car in the middle parts of this race, right? Did not think so. Did not have a care for this bet at all because I didn't think it was going to cash. Then all of a sudden at the end, I found myself thinking, all he's got to do is get past Austin Hill. All he's got to do is get past Cole Custer. All he's got to do is get past Justin Allgaier. Of course, now that he wasn't close enough to get to any of those guys, but the fact that he was 8th place after 24th validates, I think, this bet. If he would have started a little bit farther up front, who knows what that 2 car would have done, the adjustments that they could have made to make him a top 5 car by the end of it. And of course, we were getting him at 275 plus 275. I would have loved to have seen him start farther up front.
Yeah, it would have been possibly a different story if he did start further up front. But again, at almost 3-1, get within 3 spots. That's pretty good. It's hard to complain too much about that. I had Brandon Jones, top Chevrolet, 9-1. Ends up being the 5th Chevy on the day, but in 9th place. Again, this was sort of building for chaos, right? In case something happened to Justin Allgaier, and it did, right? He ends up still beating him, but things happened, right? In case something happens to Austin Hill, and it did. You didn't see that coming from Kligerman. Chandler Smith, I know our guy Kyle Armstrong was on him, but you can't trust that car most of the time, right? So I still think this was a good bet at 9-1. Unfortunately, it did not cash for us, but sometimes you just got to build in a little chaos to happen. The chaos happened. It just didn't quite shake out properly.
Yeah, we shook the crystal ball, but the crystal ball was stuck halfway between 2 answers, and we were like, I don't even know what's going on. So, all right. So it's funny, Cody, my betting card's cut off. I don't have anything else past this. Weird. I don't know what happened. There's nothing after what I just gave you on Creed top 5. Why? How did that happen? Just kidding. At Justin Allgaier.
I think
Top
that's it.
Chevy.
Have a good night, folks.
Plus 175. I said it. I said that the F1, I said, all we're going to do from now on is just get on the show, say, hi, everybody. Max Verstappen is minus 475 to win, and roll credits. And that's about it. Because anymore, that's how it is. That's the way this is, too. I'm telling you right now. Like, I'm just going to roll credits. Justin Allgaier, top Chevy, plus 175.
Man.
Justin Allgaier was
another case of the correct pick, the correct analysis, and shit going wrong at the end.
Just yellow flag. That last one. No, it was.
Well,
yeah,
the one yellow flag helped him because, all right, it caught everybody a lap down. It got him on the fresh tires. And then you got the yellow flag was at 13 laps later. They didn't have any tires left. Everybody else came in and got tires. That really screwed him over. Yep. And then the way that Kligerman could have won this race. He was real close. But it's you got screwed here, Rod. He was the best car all day. It was the right analysis. It sucked.
133 laps. 133 of 200.
And that's and the Xfinity race is so much shorter, right? And God, it's gross.
Sick.
I feel sick for you. I'm sorry.
Sick.
I did take a page out of your book. Winning car number over 11.5 minus 125. I had one question for you on this, Rod. What car number does John Hunter Nemechek drive? It's over 11.5. Actually, Rod, first through fourth, all over 11.5 on the scoreboard. You had Nemechek, Kligerman, Smith, and Smith. Oh, Sammy Smith getting a third place, by the way.
Yeah, that was.
So this one easily cashed again. Another way to get in on John Hunter, but you got that hedge in case it doesn't happen. Now, obviously, you don't hit it if Allgaier wins this race, but if Kligerman ends up being the one to win, or Chandler Smith steals that win at the end, or Sammy steals it at the end, it could cash. So another way to get in on it to double, triple dip if your guy wins, but also have that insurance in case something else happens. And a lot of stuff happened.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you're carrying on the torch of winning number bets, because that is a
lot of pressure taking a bet like that, because as good as you are at them, it's when I decide to take it, I got to make sure I get it right.
Well, hey, and you did. So I think you're learning a little something out of that one. I love it. All right. I had Cole Custer at 8-1 to win, or actually, yeah, I guess we're on that, aren't we?
Yeah.
Did we get there? Holy cow. All right. Well, I had Cole Custer at 8-1 to win this race. Custer led 28 laps, started third, finished sixth, led 28 laps along the way. This was not a bad bet. Cole Custer could have tried to hang on to it, but obviously it was Allgaier was way too fast of a car all day long. And then toward the end of it there, John Hunter was the recipient of chaotic, nonsensical stuff. So, poor Cole Custer. He could have got there. I mean, I think, honestly, had just it shook out a little differently for that. He could have been able to maybe stay up front. But, again, all these cautions just came and screwed a lot of people's games up. So, Custer was leading between laps 115 and 124 until he gave up the lead to John Hunter. And then that was about it. So after that, it was Hunter, Allgaier, Kligerman, Nemechek. It wasn't there.
Yeah. I had taken Creed at 25-1. Again, we talked about him. He never really got up there, but climbed a long way from where he started. Maybe it'd have been a different story if he started better. Trevor Bayne, 8-1, qualifies second. You're like, okay, maybe he's the one with the speed, right? John Hunter where did John Hunter start? 11th. It was like, oh boy, here we go. His odds did not shift at all, but for Bayne, 8-1, but then he gets caught up in an incident early. I believe he was part of that Barry incident early on there. Mm-hmm. So didn't get a full chance to see maybe how fast he would have been. John Hunter Nemechek 3-1 though. I was not correct in saying he was going to be the fastest. I said he was going to be the fastest car, the best car. Was not the case, but he was the best car, the fastest car at the end when it mattered, made it count. And again, here I go typing things in there with my words but he much the opposite of the cup race, right? Where it's the exact opposite, right? The best car, well, I guess the best car didn't win either one, but it cashed for us this way. It didn't cash for us the other way is what I was trying to go for.
Yeah, and they don't ask how, right? They just ask how, man.
Right.
It's not even, it's so frustrating. I mean, I wasn't frustrated to the point where I knew Allgaier, like I said, was going to be the fastest Chevy. I knew that. And he was the fastest car on the track the whole time. To me, it wouldn't have really mattered if Nemechek would have stolen it from Justin Allgaier at the end. That would have been great because then we would have cashed both bets. We'd have had Allgaier top Chevy and we would have had Nemechek as the outright, which would have been perfect. So I'm just pissed that Allgaier gave it up there at the end the way he did. I mean, all he had to do was hang on, Cody.
But see, and like, to be honest, I know you hit him outright last week and that was great, but that's why I'm so scared to bet him at short numbers because he's got a pretty good resume this year of fucking it up at the end when he's been good. And that's the risk when you bet on him. And it worked out for you last week. It came back to bite you this week. It's unfortunate, but oh well. At least this week's nice, easy race to predict, Rod. Oh, just kidding. Talladega. No Xfinity. Xfinity is off this weekend, but we will have the Cup Series. We will have the Truck Series. It's gonna be intense. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be good. I'm excited.
We're gonna see some shaking. We're gonna see some bacon. We're gonna see some Wonder Bread cars out there. I am absolutely loving all of it. So, yes, we do hit Talladega. Of course, we'll be back on the show with you tomorrow to break down Talladega. Hopefully give us some odds. Let's pray for odds.
Nothing out yet, but I'm sure it usually comes out later on Monday evening. So.
I mean, they got to watch football too, don't they? So
that's right. Yeah.
All right. Well, then we'll go ahead and wrap up this edition of the show. Thanks everybody in the live for joining us. Thanks for chatting with us. As always, we love seeing your faces in there. And we'll bring you more action tomorrow with the Cup race. So Cody, as we wind down, let everyone know where they can find you on social media.
Yep. Follow me on X at Husker_Zeeb. You can find all our work over there. I'm just, super speedways again. We'll have the whole conversation about you got to take it easy, but it's always a fun week. You take it light on the bets. You hopefully hit some big ones and party hard. I'm excited. It's going to be a fun time.
Feel like we're going to bring back the DFS wheel on the DFS episode. We're going to bring back the spin wheel and see who we pick for DFS, make cases.
I think that's a good idea.
I think it's a fantastic idea. So stick with us through the week as we give you more and more content. Of course, we're going to give you some Underdog picks since there is no Xfinity as well. So we'll have a dedicated episode to Underdog as well. Find me on X at RJ Villagomez and in the club. You can find where all my stuff is at. It's right there in the bio. Links there, whether it's here, whether it's Sportsbook Review, whether it's in between media. Just find it all over there. Back tomorrow, Talladega, baby. Till then, let's go racing, shake and bake, and let it ride.
The darkness, there is light, and